Hello Gurus, welcome back. It's me again. Welcome back to another coding session. Today we are going to explore NIM a bit deeper. We are going to develop an application, a static binary independent application that will help you to create a macro embedded Excel that will help you to bypass antivirus. Basically, it is going to do the same thing that we did in my previous video. I did show the demo of how to create it using C Sharp. If you did miss that, just go back and check it. And one more thing, thanks everyone for the subscriptions. Like it's increased, and there was a huge change from the last 2 weeks. Really excited. I'm really excited on that, and that gives me more motivation to create more coding videos and sharing my experience with you, um, how I'm learning and what's the progress in my learning. Yeah, let me take you to the actual code. Uh, where was that? Here, what I did was I was trying to convert the C sharp code to NIM. Myself, I always consider that's one of the best ways we can learn a new programming language. If you know some language and if you have a good grip on any one of the languages, the best way to learn a new language is try to convert your existing application that you developed to the new uh, language that you are planning to learn. So I did the same thing here. I did convert the same C sharp code that we developed on last video. I showed the demo using the same kind of um, application, but that was in C Sharp, and it was a GUI application. Unfortunately, I'm not that much proficient in NIM, and I couldn't develop a GUI app for this same kind of stuff. But definitely going forward, I think I can develop GUI apps using NIM because NIM is might be it will be more platform independent if I develop GUI applications in NIM. So definitely I will try that. So let me show you what I did here. Yep. Yeah, there were a couple of challenges, in fact. I'll talk about that first. Uh, the first challenge was there were no references on how to save an Excel file using the mm, Winim com uh, what is that package. There was one skeleton file that is here. It's the part of offensive name, but if you have a closer look into this one, the main thing I was planning to do was to like my aim was to convert the GUI app to a console app where the application is going to accept file name, the Excel file name as a command line argument. So I thought this would be a complete example, so I can just copy paste and made some changes only the macro part. But unfortunately, that does not like that. This code will never help you to save a file. And moreover that, the macro style here, they have used this not an automatic macro. They are creating a macro submodule here and they're calling it explicitly to run the macro. But the code that I did last time was something different. My macro code was not open and it will automatically run when the user is going to enable the macro. And as I explained last time, it's going to load our PowerShell reversal code from our CNC server and is going to execute on victim's memory, and you will get a will bypass that current existing antivirus and we get a reversal. So this was my code, and so that was the main challenge. Like I couldn't find out where here to how to save that Excel sheet, and saving the Excel using the COM library was really a challenge because here in C Sharp, the best part of .NET was we had corresponding enumerators and null values. If you are not using something, there was a option for me to pass missing dot value. It's a it's from the reflection class. So there was a kind of what to say on that. This missing dot value will replace the exact nil or null value behind the scene when you are considering saving the application. Uh, Actual save as function has a lot of arguments, and I have this method here. I was not at all worried about this one save as method when I was using C sharp, because I had the option to pass missing dot object, what is it, missing dot value on all these unwanted parameters. Uh, but for here in nim, that was a challenge for me. I was searching for an example, but I couldn't find out any example for how to save the actual workbook. The only thing I got was up to here, and the actual nim examples from this guy. I will show you that. Actually, I have taken some apart from that. That example was really helpful for me to show you the demo of creating pretext, because this example had chart and some data on another worksheet. So I did add the same here in my example too. So on the examples, if you go there on the com, there's an action application. Yeah, this is the one. But even here, he didn't show us how to. The creator of this one didn't show us how to save the worksheet. There was no saving option here. But I tried this one without saving it. This is like it's based on some data it's applying. It's adding some values to the active worksheet and rename the worksheet as this one, and then adding a chart. I did take all this part because it's a good example to show you how the pretext should be. You you can make it according to your need. Like you can change the values, or you can make it more impressive with more accurate kind of data. So unfortunately, as I said, there was no saving option or saving example here also. So after a lot of search, I got one stuff that was a closed issue in this library, and somebody was asked about opening an existing existing Excel file using this library. And going forward, he was complaining about some this update links uh, stuff. And when I checked this update links, uh, I got it was kind of one of the parameters for opening, just like Sevas, when you're trying to open the workbook, it was one of the parameters. So, as a to resolve that issue, actually this guy was asked like whether there's any option to skip the other parameters that he doesn't want to add, and the creator of this library uh, replied here is not possible because the compiler supports named arguments, because it recognizes the names at compile time. So that was the only thing uh, I got, and I was working based on this one. So my thought was like it was like a hint here. Update links is just like one of the parameters when you are opening. I think it is here somewhere. Open is there or not? Check, close. Well, no, oh, it's not open links. Yeah, I have seen it somewhere. Yeah, it's just like this, just like Sevas. And what exactly it is saying is, mm, if you pass your parameters, when I was working on C sharp, I did just exactly the same thing, but I didn't do the named parameters value. It's like just position on each position of the parameter. I was just passing missing value, and if 100, I was passing the actual enumerators. So I had to do the same stuff here. That was the main challenge I faced. Uh, this was a challenge. The SEVAs. And the first argument was fine. It's a file name with the path that you can supply at runtime. And second was a file format. When you come here, see this is stuff this guy was talking here. The named parameters, named arguments or named parameters. So if you want to do something on here, you have to exactly pass the exact name of the parameter, then the value. See here, I have highlighted this one file format as 56 because in C Sharp or in .NET there's an equivalent uh, enumerator, so that will help you to pass. And it's more readable here. But if you, I don't know, you can see it. If I highlight on this one, you can see the value of this one is 56 in fact. See, they already defined this enumerator is 56, and just to make it more readable, they create a well-defined enumerator, and you can just access it using Excel file format. Uh, what was that? The Excel 8. That will help you to create an Excel sheet on Win97 and 2003 format. Basically, it's not XLS file. So here, but I had no enumerator kind of stuff in that Winim library. When I'm creating using Winim library. So the only option for me was to pass the named parameter with the value. So I did take the 56 from the .NET definition of this one, or you can see the same stuff here and Microsoft document definition. It's 56 is this one Excel 8. So there I was able to pass that. Then the other parameters, password. I don't want to set any password here. So all these are defined here in this one. Password, write address password, readily recommended. If the password is not correct, it will allow you to, the user to open it. Read-only mode or not, create backup, access mode. Again, there are two other enumerators here, access mode and save conflict resolution. I did pass the values just like that. It's really recommended. Everything false, creating backup, no backup. Access mode is 1. Access mode 1 means actually it is here. In fact, there's no change. No change is the same here we have done while using C Sharp. See, this is the value. The value is 1. I did refer this and the Microsoft documentation to make it working. So the rest was same, like access mode. After access mode, the conflict resolution. That was another what to say another enumerator value that I had to pass. There is an equivalent. It is here. I think it is. Yeah, I passed the value. See, 3 just to ensure that local usage changes are always rejected because it's an embedded macro that we are going to test the security, or we are going to access some ADI solutions or antivirus. So I don't want to make any, I don't want to accept any changes from the user. So this option is like whether we want to add this Excel sheet to the recent list of Excel. So I'm not adding that. And text code page, everything is defined here. You just have a look into this one from Microsoft definition. Everything has a option here. So some of the stuffs I don't want to make enable. I just pass the value 0 with the named parameter. That's very important. You have to specify the parameter, then colon equal to the value. And there's some other thing you have to take and care is like password. I didn't pass the password as 0 or write password 0 because these values are string. Even though here they have defined as variant. Variant, I think the type means it could be. I mean, the actual value will be different here. A string and a case sensitive string. So you have to check that what exactly they are specifying. Here the variant is true, is not a string. So variant means actually it's a kind of data type that it can be anything that you can assign. It's dynamic. So you should read the right description right on the right hand side to identify what exactly this variant data type is. Based on that, you have to assign values here. That was the biggest challenge I faced because I never used this library. And when I planned this last week, I thought that offensive name Excel had it was a completely working example. So I thought I would have used this one, but unfortunately, this was not working. And one more thing, if you want to add that shell code from Metasploit, I hope you know how to create that file format VBA. You just use MS of Venom and select your payload and generate as a VBA file. So you will get like this, um, and you can just come here and copy paste. Or here, one more thing this guy has done, and he's assigning it like I don't know whether it's a direct one from my Metasploit, but in NIM there's a way to assign multi-line strings. It's you have to put three double quotes. In fact, not three. It's six. In fact, beginning and end. The inside that you can specify your string value. So there is no escape characters inside this one. Whatever you are specifying inside here, it will consider it as exactly the same character. There is no escaping. As an example here, slash c, it won't escape. It is going to come just like that. And the single quote here is going to come just like that. And exactly the same happen here on double quotes. So whatever you are going to give inside that this three double quotes or six double quotes, you can make it as a multi-line string, and there is no escape characters inside that. So yeah, those were the challenges. And yeah, now let us have a look into the code line by line. We did exactly the same thing. Like yeah, let me the creation of the Excel creation. That here we in C# we did create the application workbook and worksheet, and we put the display alerts are false, and we added workbook, and we just put actually there was no need of this worksheet, but we just took a reference to the active worksheet. The same thing here we did. Um, we created the Excel application, and then we created an extra stuff here. There is something different from that actual C# code was a W shell. I mean, it's a W script shell that will help you to execute your VBA code, or that will help you to add. Uh, sorry, not the VBA code. That will help you to make changes on the registry here. That's a difference in like in here when we did that we were using that directly. There's a registry key namespace or class in CLR or .NET that will help you to manipulate registry values directly there. But here we did that using the WSHL WScript shell. That's a difference. That's a main difference from compared to the one that in C#. And we just put application version. See here the VBOM registry path. Here we put, this is a format. If you want to put the actual value inside inside the string. So the same thing we did. Hope you remember that. We just directly add the application Excel app version on the registry path, and we did um, change values of these two registry stuffs. So the same stuff I'm doing here. I'm just setting it up. This one that I explained on last video. Why did we do that? You just refer that what exactly happens when we are changing these values on the registry. And the best part of this name I felt was I did show that on my last video when I was working on C sharp. When you're working when you when I was trying to run the application uh, repeatedly, it was making errors because the CLR was not able to handle the COM components references. It was not possible. It was not working well on CLR when it was trying to remove the references from the memory. So the garbage collector was not working well, and so even after assigning null values to all the Excel sheets and these objects, that is not working well on C sharp. But here, surprisingly, it was amazing. It worked well here. I was trying to run this repeatedly. There was no problem. And it was perfectly handling the COM, removing all the COM references after calling this method. And these stuffs actually, you don't get it on the offensive name example that is provided here. I have taken this example, I mean, these stuffs from the actual Vinim, I mean, the creator of the library. He had some examples there. Yes, well, he gives the example there, so you can refer that. And this well, I did mix this both this offensive name part and in Excel. Actually, there was no need to refer this session because I had no use of this kind of macros. So I completely referred this one, and the extra stuff I added was just the macro. So I did take all this part. It's basically just creating some data with some one chart with some data, and it's adding some details to a worksheet. That's all. So that's a perfect example for how to create a pretext. Like in real time, is not we can't convince someone with a blank Excel sheet. So you have to come up with some kind of chart or some kind of convincing data on a worksheet. So these are the ways to access in the objects inside the worksheet, active worksheet. You can have an active worksheet range. You can access cells, and you can apply colors. You can add graphs, everything. So it's a perfect example. That's why I just took that example. You can change the data if you want. So here the rest of the stuff was uh, really simple. Not, I mean, simple means almost same. Like object component, we are creating an Excel module. In our C sharp example, we did create a VB module. The same stuff here. Here, another thing I will show you is here we have used another enumerator. Uh, for adding the component to the workbook, the Excel module, the VB module to Excel VB module to the workbook, and the actual value of that one is 1. So here you are just directly adding that to 1. That's it. You don't need to get confused on that part. But this is more readable, and when you are using enumerators, it will be more readable. And yeah, that's some kind of standards. But here my main aim was to make it workable. So I just found equivalent enumerator value and added here just like that, and the rest is same. I have my macro here, and it will work when the user is going to enable the macro. I'm adding that code module add from string, the same method we call here. These methods are same because it's basically COM components methods. So it's exposing the same way of accessing these elements everywhere. So then after adding that uh, macro to our workbook, then we are just setting our active worksheet name. That's actually in C Sharp we didn't do any pretext. I could have done the same kind of example in C Sharp, but I didn't do that. It's pretty straightforward in C Sharp too. So basically, it's just adding chart or accessing, setting up values on cells of an Excel sheet is basically that's the same idea. So you could have done. I mean, I could have done that on C Sharp, but just I kept it for NIM uh, because I was pretty sure it would be a challenge for me to add the pretext here. But fortunately, I did get a working example from the creator of the Vinim library. As I said, the biggest challenge for me was finding out a reference for servers, and I couldn't find any reference in Google for this one. So I don't know, somebody else has done this or not. Even the offensive name collection, they didn't give us a proper example. They just, it's actually is not a practical example, if you ask me. But it will give you a basic idea about how to get access to the COM components and how to create macros and adding macros. But our aim was to create an embedded macro that's going to work when the user is going to open the Excel sheet and enable the macro. So we have that macro here, and we added the macro to our worksheet. Where's that? Yeah, we added that to our workbook. Then we just did some pretext with some data. Then we and here is a chart part. You just add the chart based upon some values. It's all just some junk values, so nothing serious on that. And one more thing, the other challenge I faced on here was the command line arguments. So I couldn't find any good example for that too, because everyone was explaining some stuff, but then from those explanation what I got, when you're passing command line arguments to name applications, there's an option to access it using this uh, param str value that holds the actual command line arguments that you pass to this application. And I'm taking one because 0 is always your application name. So it's the actual value starts from the index 1. And I'm assigning that to a variable, and let there are two keywords, I mean important keywords here, let and var. The var keyword will help you to like it's kind of mutable values, and let is mutable. I think you can't change the value after once you assign this one. You can't perform any operations on this one, this string. Yeah, that's the difference of let and var. Then I'm using that command line arguments here, and I'm saving the file. So rest is same. We just reset the value back to the original value. Then just display as false. Close the workbook. Release all the COM references. This was really good compared to the C sharp and the CLR one. So that was it. I did make working. It did it on a working condition, and the result was amazing. It's I think the 115 KB something, some a file that will help you to create a macro embedded Excel that is only 115 KB, and that is not even the best part is that is not pointing to CLR, or that's not part of Microsoft actual libraries or anything. So that 115 KB was really amazing if you ask me. Now it's the time to build it. For building it again, I'm using these stars here instead of release. If you use I think the danger keyword, again this will uh, reduce the file size, but I'm not using here it because I didn't test it. We can try if you want. Probably it will work because it won't make any big difference there, but definitely the file size will be uh, less compared to the release mode. If you are not using any of these features, I think the first thing when I did, it was 370 337 or something, 337 KB file. Even that is very less file size, but even if you had the option to strip off almost so much of flags from the actual build, so I just use that and reduce the file size to 115 or 117 KB. So let me show you how to build it. I'm just building it. Yeah, I hope you remember that I showed you same thing, that we should have our CNC server ready before running this one. So I had set up everything before I was using this one. So here in thing, uh, where's that? Oh no, it's not here. Yeah, this was a file, and this one had the actual partial reversal script that will help you to get bypass the antivirus and get your reversal. And this one is going to be listening on 44443 because I'm going to share this file on 443. 443 means that's what we have mentioned here. The file is going to get from this server from the port 443, and we are going to get it and execute on memory of the victim. So inside this script, when it's going to run on the victim machine, it's going to connect back to CNC server. It can be a same server, or it could be something different. Like you could have used some other, like it's like your CNC server. It's up to you whether you want to use a separate servers or same server. It's going to connect back to another port. If it's going to be a separate server, then definitely you can use the same for 4443. I mean 443 port instead of this one, because here is both the same for me. So I'm using the already use 443, so I'm using 4443. So I'm going to make my listener here. So the only thing left is yeah, before that you have to serve your file. I have explained about the serve file tool that I developed on last video. I'm using the same here. Sudo /serve and the port number. So if everything goes fine, this when the user is going to enable the macro, is going to connect back to my CNC server and try to get the file. And if that is if the file is working fine, if there is no error on the remote file, it will get execute on the memory, and it will connect back to the same server on port 4443. So let us create that Excel macro file. Yeah, now we have dir Excel star Excel Mac. I always kept a copy of my actual working file if in case I have to take a backup on my external drive. I'll share all this code, as I said, once I'm reaching that benchmark of subscriptions that I have planned. So once I reach that, I will share all this code. So now we have, see, as I said, it's 117 KB. It's an Excel, the DXE is generated here. Now I'm going to run this. What is that? Excel Mac, and the path and get it dot xls. I hope this will work. Yeah, it's done. So just reveal in Explorer. Yeah, we have the get it dot xl and open it. See, this is the pretext I was talking about. We created a macro embedded Excel sheet with a pretext that has some chart and some data. I mean, definitely this is not going to be a real-time data, but you can make changes on this one according to your need, or you can completely create a new pretext one. It was just for a demo. I just did that. So now we have the file, Excel file here, and if the user is going to enable this content, yeah, we got cmd true file here, and the same time, yes, come and visit here. We got the shell. Who am I? As I said on last video, I did run this on my same host file, host machine, and my real-time protection was on here. So that was it. Like the last part was almost same, like getting a shell, reverse shell was fine. What I plan to explain you how did I achieve using NIM and the challenges I faced when I was using NIM. So I'm pretty sure I didn't find any reference for saving a file using this one. So this was the biggest challenge for me to get it to work. Uh, stuff to stuff almost same as C sharp. I just converted everything back to here. And unfortunately, as I said, the offensive name example was not helping. But even though it was a good reference, I always refer this collection because it has other good collections, that good examples that will help you to learn NIM at least, but not this one. So did I finish off that one? Yeah, that's it for this video. And yeah, once again, I thank all those who subscribe the channel. And if you didn't subscribe, please do subscribe and let me keep maintaining this channel with more exciting coding videos and security tool development. Um, and I'm getting a lot of requests for doing something for the beginners, and all they want is kind of setting up the lab and using some basic tools and other stuff. I'm not that much interested in that, but definitely if I get more time, I will create those videos for the beginners. But till then, just stay tuned, and I will be sharing more coding, security coding stuffs here. Now it's a bye from Alphas.